video, I'm going to show you how to import a photo into Photoshop and change some of the contrast and work on changing the way that the lights and darks are showing up inside of the photo. So first you want to open up Photoshop. So here, that's what I have here on the screen. You're going to make sure you have your toolbar here that has all your tools here, your presets. And you can do that by making sure that the window shows your tools here. See, if I turn this off, then the tools go away. So click Window in the upper panel that has File, Edit, Image, Layer, Type, Select, and you're going to go down to Tools to make sure your tools are present. Then what you're going to do is go to File, Open, well, you can start with just New. Just go ahead and default Photoshop size. I'm going to go back to about 8.5 by 11. Make it a little bit bigger. Make sure your resolution is 300. Now we're going to bring in a photo so that we can work on the lighting of the photo and work on burn and things like that. Open. I'll make sure you have a portrait of a person when you start off with this assignment. So I'm going to bring in a photo. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in here. Now we're going to work to, I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here. We're going to work to change some of the lighting on this photo here. What we're going to do is go to Image. We're going to go to Adjust the Contrast. And now we should be able to change some of the contrast. We don't really want to work straight from the layer 1 here. So we're going to duplicate the layer so we don't alter the original image too much. We can only work from a copy. Here, the eye on and off lets you see which layer is on and off, which layer you're working in. We can just take, using this lasso, this magnetic lasso, we can take just his face off of the bag of chips. Magnetic lasso works by just bringing in different opacities, pulling images based off of opacity, like which is the same color, not opacity, excuse me, but which images that are on with an existing image have the similarities of color. That's why you see here down at the bottom, this hood is black, and then it picked up a lot of the titling right down here at the bottom. So what we want to do is take this selection here and just copy and paste it. So now if we click the the cursor, what you'll be able to notice is that we should just only have a copy of just that area. Once we've selected, let me try it one more time because it didn't work. Oh, we got that in here. We don't need that. We really only want to just add in just his face here. And then close it. So, okay, now it's correct. So you see here in layer 2, if we turn off everything else, we just have here Snoop Dogg. That's what we want. Now, if we go over into working on just all right, in order to get to the curves, you're going to go to the Image tab, go down to Adjustments, and then Curves. There it is there, Curves. But you just want to work on some of the levels and the curves so that we can work on. So when you open up the curves, you're going to see here the colors that are inside of the image here. What we want to do is bring some of the highlights in. So we can start over here in the middle of this graph, because you can see the darkest of darks over here in the bottom left. Then it goes over into the white areas here. We want to work on lightening. See how immediately the photo becomes light when I move this bar up. When I move the bar down to the mid-range here, back to where it was, it's a little dim, maybe on a grayscale area. Move it over here to the left, it becomes lighter. Move it over to the right, it gets darker, where you can kind of barely see the face. So this is showing you how to work on changing and removing some of the areas that are either too dark or extremely too light. This kind of helps when you're trying to focus on which areas you want to lighten, which areas you want to darken as an overall photo or a person's face, when you're trying to bring out more of the contours, when you're trying to work on some of the darkest areas and lightest areas, so that the photo becomes more 3D. It has a really good contrast and looks quality. Here's the dodge tool. It lightens areas in an image. So say we just wanted to lighten around this area right over here. It'll dodge, it'll start to bring in some of these lighter areas in the photo without trying to just lighten up the whole piece individually. So here you can see a little more what's going on in the background. It's almost like erasing the darkness and just kind of bringing in some contours around the cheekbones, right in here, the ears, like almost he has earrings back in there. So you see the photo gets lighter. That's the dodge tool. Burn is different. This is the blur tool. This is the eraser tool. This is your clone stamp. If you say there's a piece here that I want to add on to the right side, like say you want to add an eye right into the middle of his forehead, you would go ahead, click the eye right over here and hold down the Option key. Click that area. Then you can begin to just bring in, once you've made sure that you identify the area that you want to duplicate somewhere else with the clone, you can go ahead and use the stamp tool to bring that same area into another area. So you can just touch here, bring the eye area here. Now the eye is going to be replicated over here. I'm going to take this off. So now the eye is right there at the top. That's how you use the clone stamp, and that's how you also use the dodge tool. Now let's bring in the burn and see how we can bring that tool in further. Now your burn tool looks different. It's going to look like a hand right on over here. So the burn tool selectively darkens areas. So as we can see, we had the dodge tool earlier. Now we have the burn. Burn is going to just darken in specific areas. Let's say we wanted to darken in the word barbecue here in cheddar. Well, the title, not in cheddar, but in this area here. So we can just look to see how can we darken this? So immediately we're darkening it right away. You click it, it's going to darken in the word immediately. And see, it's almost like it's just taking out the word altogether as it's darkening it in. If we want to darken in the nose, see, this is what it looks like. Want to change the size of the circle that you're working with, the circumference, you want to bring it down to a smaller design. You go to size over here, and now your area that you're working in becomes. So look, now his nose is darkening, and the tool that we're using to darken it is getting a little bit darker. And so you see how it's just darkening the nose right there down the middle. You want to erase that? You didn't like the way you darkened it? Just go back by hitting Control or Command Z or Control Z, depending on what device you're working in. If you don't like the way barbecue is darkened right in here, you can even add in one of the upper higher layers that are still here. This is why I was saying to work in various layers. And then you can just go ahead and bring barbecue back in. So this is the dodge tool, the burn tool. These are the tools here that help artists to change photos to be what they want them to be. So here, look, we're going back in the opposite direction. Because I changed to the dodge tool, we're just bringing in the lighting over the word barbecue as it was messed up before, where we darkened it with the burn tool darkens, the dodge tool lightens. So that's just an example there of how to alter your photos in this quick tutorial on the dodge tool and the burn tool.